Hello and welcome to the first of our two-part video summary looking at the play She Stoops to Conquer. In this first video, we'll be looking at the context of the play and things that you need to be aware of when you're discussing the play, particularly for your exams and coursework contextually, but equally we'll give a summary of the play in its entirety. Make sure you also check out part 2 of our video where we'll be looking at themes, key symbols, as well as characters. So when it comes to context, the first thing to remember is that the playwright Oliver Goldsmith was an Irish novelist, playwright and poet. And the play She Stoops to Conquer is a comedy, though what type of comedy bracket it belongs to has been much debated. The prologue of this play tells us that the writer is attempting to bring back classical low comedy, and it has parts of a laughing comedy, a comedy of manners, where, for instance, the comedy comes from characters trying to be polite while also exhibiting their true behaviour. But equally, we can also say that this is a satire. When it comes to the play itself, it begins with us witnessing Mr. and Mrs. Hardcastle, who are awaiting the arrival of Marlowe. This is the son of one of their old friends and possibly a suitor for the daughter Kate. Mrs. Hardcastle's niece, Constance, is also staying with them. She has an inheritance she can claim once she is married, and they hope that this will be given over to Mr. Hardcastle's son from a previous marriage, Tony. Constance and Tony, however, do not love one another, and Constance does have a lover. Marlowe also arrives with her lover, Hastings, at a pub nearby, lost on the way to the Hardcastle's home. Tony sees them there and tricks them by telling the house down the road is an inn. The two go to the inn, which is really the Hardcastle home, and Marlowe is rude, thinking that this is an inn and not his family friend. Constance then reveals to Hastings that Tony has tricked them, and they decide not to tell Marlowe the truth. They also want to get her inheritance and elope. We find that Kate is really attracted to Marlowe, and Tony and Hastings agree that Tony will steal the jewels that are Constance's inheritance so that Tony will not have to marry her like his mother wants her to. Tony steals the jewels, and Marlowe's father is on his way, and the characters worry that he'll reveal Hastings as Constance's lover. Marlowe and Hardcastle continue to fight, as Marlowe thinks Hardcastle is an innkeeper, and Hardcastle ends kicking him out. Kate pretends to be a poor relation to the Hardcastles, and Marlowe realises that he cannot marry her. Mrs. Hardcastle finds a letter from the Hastings asking Constance to elope, and she plans to take the girl away. Marlowe, Hastings and Tony then confront one another over the jokes and lies that have gotten them into this mess. Marlowe's father arrives and Marlowe apologises. Then Tony drives Constance and Mrs. Hardcastle in circles, so she thought she was going far. And Hastings and Constance end up asking permission to marry, and since Tony refuses to marry her, their request is granted. Kate asks her father to watch her interaction with Marlowe to prove he is a polite and good man, and after observing them, he agrees to the match. So that's all with regards to the context and a summary of the play. If you found it useful, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see more revision videos and get some resources. Thank you so much for listening.